State Field in Port St. Lucie, it's the New York Mets against the Miami Marlins. Spring training on SNY is presented by Citi. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Citi, preferred card of the New York Mets. By Spectrum, watch your show wherever you go with Spectrum TV. It's TV the way you want it. Get it now at spectrum.com. By Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. And by Toyota, save big all March during Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event. Toyota, let's go places. With Keith Hernandez, I'm Wayne Randazzo in for Gary Cohen. Today, home stretch of spring training, Keith. 2 weeks to go until the start of the regular season. Where do you think the position players should be right now?
Well, you're getting right down to the end here. I've always liked to turn it on the last 10 days of spring training, find that rhythm, and then carry it into the season and hopefully get off to the hot start. We've got a couple guys right now that aren't playing. Conforto, of course, had been injured all spring. Cespedes is a concern right now with the injection of the cortisone in his wrist. He hasn't had any activity. You're getting to the point now where you got to get these guys out there. Not Conforto, but certainly you want Cespedes out there and getting some swings.
We will see Matt Harvey on the mound for the Mets today, as today's pitchers are brought to you by Cadillac. A lot of the A relievers out there as well. Jerry Blevins, A.J. Ramos, Jerry's Familian, Matt Perk, an interesting candidate for the bullpen on the left side for the Mets going into the regular season. But as for Matt Harvey, Keith, an opportunity today to continue those steps forward. We've seen Matt pitch pretty well so far this spring.
Well, I like what I've seen so far. And I think what's happening with Matt now is that he's in a transition. He's had the horrific surgery that's difficult to come back from, and it affected his season last year, obviously. But he's right now transitioning to be more of a pitcher. And what I've seen from him so far is terrific changeup. He spots his slider. He's lost a little bit on his fastball. Still throws very hard, but he's not in a position now where he can make mistakes. He's got to learn to hit the corners and keep the ball down to be effective.
So Matt Harvey on the mound here this afternoon as the Mets get ready to play some baseball. Beautiful Thursday afternoon here in Port St. Lucie with the regular season just around the corner. The fans getting excited for the upcoming year. NY is brought to you by WB Mason, the official office products company of the New York Mets. Who but WB Mason? By Empire City Casino, current jackpot is now over $2.8 million. You could be the biggest winner yet. By your Tri-State Audi dealers, take a test drive today. And by Cash for Life from the New York Lottery, you could win $1,000 a day for life. Get to Citi Field Saturday, March 31st to see the Mets take on the St. Louis Cardinals at 1:10 p.m. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Mets Build-A-Bear teddy bear, courtesy of Northwell Health. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Mets upcoming schedule presented by WB Mason. We take you through the end of spring training, March 25th, the last game of spring. The Mets and Marlins will wrap things up. A couple of more SNY games, including one tomorrow with the Baltimore Orioles here. And the Nationals in town next week for a night game, a 6 o'clock start next Thursday. Matt Harvey on the mound for the Mets here this afternoon, getting ready to go for the first pitch today as the Marlins come up and the Surfers out having a good time on a beautiful day for baseball. The Mets and Marlins play today. Everyone's excited. Keith?
Oh, man.
Look at this kid throw.
Oh,
like
nice.
Matz, huh?
Very nice.
Trying to work the inside of the plate just like Steven, too. Toyota Marlins starting lineup. We'll see Lewis Brinson, one of the most exciting prospects in all of baseball. Brian Anderson, likely the opening day third baseman now for Miami. And pitchers hitting for the first time this spring this week as Matt Harvey takes the hill.
Well, there's Matt. There's his numbers from last season, which was kind of a wash for him with the surgery. So far this spring, he looks fit as a fiddle, doesn't he? He's in great shape. I like his arm action. He's been throwing the ball loose and free. Got touched up a little bit, but the long ball hurt him against the Yankees back on last start, March 10th. But this is his fourth start of the spring, and it is getting ready to get it ready for opening day. And the Lexus Metropolitan defense. There's Ty Kelly, the switch hitter, out in right field. Lagares and Nimmo been getting extended play with injuries to Conforto. as well as Cespedes, getting a chance to show their wares. I think they're both going to be platooned in center field when the season starts. Plawecki behind the plate, really having a great spring. Donnie Baseball? How did I know that? Who tipped me off?
Whose mustache? His mustache is gone. Yours is still around.
Well, if only mustaches had hits in them. Unfortunately, they don't.
They don't? Well, you guys both got a lot of hits wearing the mustache. I don't know if that's true.
What a great ball player he was. And it's a shame his career was curtailed because of a back injury. What a great player.
J.B. Shuck trying to make the Marlins roster to start the year. The Twins organization in 2017. He starts it off against Matt Harvey, and we are underway in Port St. Lucie with a called strike from Harvey. Harvey's had a couple of good outings this spring. Ran into the Yankees buzzsaw in his last outing. That was in Tampa on Saturday. Gave up a big blast to Giancarlo Stanton, which soured his day. Ended up with 5 runs allowed. Easy play for Asdrubal Cabrera, and there's one down.
Good start. Good to see. Look at Matt, clean shaven. Usually he's got a little growth, little 5 o'clock shadow when he pitches. He's looking spiffy.
Braxton Lee bats now. Came over from Tampa in the Adeiny Echeverria trade.
You can see Matt way over on the first base side of the rubber. As I said in the open, for those of you that were watching or were paying attention, Matt needs to spot that fastball, be on the corners with that fastball, and pitch inside.
What does it mean to you to see a right-handed pitcher working the first base side of the rubber?
It doesn't matter what side of the rubber they pitch, Wayne. The guys that always were a little bit of trouble were the guys that didn't step with their lead foot directly towards home, and they stepped towards, in Matt's case, towards the third base line and threw across their body. That was a little something you had to make a mild adjustment to. But like Frank Robinson once told me, no matter what they do out there, they got to throw it over the plate. Well, that's a hitter for you. That's hitter talk.
That is hitter talk. That's not over the plate, way high from Harvey. Well, Mickey Callaway and Dave Island specifically want their pitchers to work the inside part of the plate.
Yes, I saw that, I read that, and I heard that, and I love it. And it's like Island's very aggressive, very forthright. A good backdoor breaking ball there. He says, wait, we're going to pitch inside and we're going to hit some people. But we can't have hitters. Oh, nice little backdoor there. Good start for Matt. You can't have hitters leaning out over that plate, and the pitcher it's always a battle between the hitter and the pitcher who gains control of the inside corner.
Did it affect you as a hitter when a pitcher you knew was going to work inside and challenge you and attack you that way?
Yes, if a hitter got me worried in, I was going to be in trouble. That was the constant battle. I think with right-handers, the cutter came in my generation, and the Montreal staff, that was a really terrific staff. Steve Rogers, Charlie Lee, David Palmer, they all threw, Bill Gullickson, they all threw that cutter in on my hands, and I didn't like that. I was very much aware of it.
Good fastball there from Harvey to get ahead of Brian Anderson, 1-2.
Good fastball outside corner. Right to the glove.
And right back to that corner, this time freezing Anderson to end the inning. Perfect for Matt Harvey. Couple of strikeouts in the first. Positive at the top of the order for the Mets this spring. You see Yoenis Cespedes continues to be out with his sore wrist. Wilmer Flores at first base today, and Matt Harvey hitting in the Mets lineup.
25-year-old Dylan Peters from Indianapolis had his major league debut last year with the Marlins. He really struggled on the big league level, but had a terrific year. Went from rookie league all the way up to Double-A to the big leagues in one season.
Dylan Peters pitching to Brandon Nimmo with ball one. Peters won 14 games in Double-A in 2016. Had a fractured left thumb last year at the beginning of the season, which delayed him a little bit. That's why he ended up pitching in rookie ball on his way back from that injury.
Another guy that had Tommy John surgery earlier in his career a couple years ago. Not a big guy. Very rare you see a 5'9" pitcher out there today. Everybody's just like the Jolly Green Giant out there today.
He falls behind Nimmo, and that's really been a huge problem for Peters this spring. He's been walking everybody. This is a guy in the minor leagues who went a whole season with just 20 walks. So far this spring, he has 8 in 5 2/3 innings. Nimmo cutting loose on 2-0.
Well, there's that launch angle swing, and Nimmo has been talking about. Everybody, it's the new swing du jour. Well, it makes you vulnerable on that pitch at the letters. This one's a little lower in the zone. We see he's under the ball. Always want to stay focused. I know I'm going against the grain here. You want to stay on top of that ball, particularly if you're not a power hitter and you're a leadoff hitter and a guy at table setter like Nimmo. But everybody wants everybody hit home runs today, and that goes from agents to the players and to the front office. That's what they want. Well, that's what they'll get.
Nimmo's hit 3 home runs this spring. He has 3 doubles and 2 triples too. 8 extra base hits. A couple of his homers have been leadoff shots. Trying to reach base on a jam shot. It's Anderson in foul ground for the first out.
Your Mercedes Marlins defense. Boy, this is a tough one, folks. If you recognize someone in there, you let me know. But I know one thing. Lewis Brinson out in center field is one of their big prospects. Came in that trade with Milwaukee. They're real high on this young man. This is going to be a team that's going to be a bunch of youngsters out there.
Here's Asdrubal Cabrera. A lot of youth on the Marlins, certainly as the season goes along. Sounds like to begin the year they want to have Cameron Maybin in their opening day outfield. They wanted Martin Prado to play third base, but had a setback recently coming back from his knee surgery.
Well, Peters has got a little bit of a lazy breaking ball. I know it's early.
They thought Peters would easily slide into their starting rotation to begin the year, but his spring has called that into question. He may not now. Well,
there's your fire sale. Those are pretty good players right there. That was the best corner outfielders. I mean, all those 3 outfielders was probably the best outfield in the National League, and they're all gone. But the Marlins would tell you, and Don Mattingly in ball 4 there, that they traded for youth, and of the MLB's top 30 prospects in Major League Baseball, the Marlins acquired 13 of them. So it's definitely rebuild.
A man on for Todd Frazier after the 4-pitch walk from Peters. His 9th pass this spring. And ball 1 again, Todd Frazier. Marlins certainly reconstructing things, although they don't like the word rebuild, even though that's what it seems to be to everybody else.
Well, what are you going to call it? What do they like to call it?
Well, they said they weren't really built up anyway. So they're not really rebuilding.
Well, that's a little rough. How do you really feel about me?
That they were always the team that hovered around 500, maybe got to 85 wins or close to that a couple of times, but with that whole crew, Stanton and Ozuna and Yelich, they never really did make a true push for the postseason.
They've never, over the years, even when they developed that good offense like last couple of years, never had the pitching. They had a decent bullpen, never had a really quality closer, and their rotation, their starting five, was suspect. That was always their Achilles heel.
Frazier wraps one on the ground. Anderson near the lines, got it, trying to start the double play, and they get it. A couple of good throws around the diamond from Anderson and Isan Diaz, and an inning-ending double play for Dylan Peters. Hit so far. Matt Harvey worked a 1-2-3 first inning, goes to work against Tomas Solis in the second.
Nice breaking ball. Switch hitting catcher. So you see Matt in his motion now. There's not all that energy expended on one pitch.
This one hit hard. Lagares makes the running catch.
Well, we all know about Juan's glove. That is never a question.
Such an incredible value in center field for Juan Lagares, and yet it's a struggle to find at-bats for him because he has not continued to improve offensively. There's Lewis Brinson. No worries about his offense. This is a guy who could very well be haunting the National League East for the next decade.
Well, they have high hopes for him, that's for sure. Had a big year in AAA last year in Colorado Springs in that rarefied air.
One of the top prospects in all the land came over in that Christian Yelich trade.
Yelich was the last one to go for these Marlins.
Brinson's a Miami area native. Glad to be representing the Marlins as they try to refurbish their franchise.
Hey, when you're a young kid, and this is a golden opportunity, you're playing for a team that's in a radical transition. And this is radical as I've seen in a long while. And it's an opportunity for the young guys.
Rosario couldn't reach that hard ground ball off the bat of Brinson. The first hit of the day.
Number 30, first baseman Garrett Cooper.
Playing a little bit to pull, just out of the reach of Rosario. Rosario, like Reyes, when he gets set in his position, is upright. Doesn't get down in a crouch. And I'll go back. I won't be contemporary here because I can't think right now who gets down in a crouch of today's players. Of the shortstop, Larry Bowa comes to mind. Buddy Harrelson. But he's pretty upright, and I know that if I played upright on the infield when I was playing back, I don't feel that I would have been able to get a good jump off the bat.
You were kind of known for being deeply crouched for a first baseman.
Yes, I was, and on my balls of my feet, and ready to go left, right, front, back, forward, backwards.
Why don't players do that so much
I don't
anymore?
know. You know, a lot of times I think I'm a corner infielder. You're not going to see a third baseman playing in, or right now Todd Frazier's playing back. But a lot of times it's a hot corner. You've got to be in a position. But a first baseman's holding a runner on, it's the same thing, and you have to be ready to go. You have to be down in a fielding stance. Crouch.
Lecky popped up. See, play the other night where the catcher for the Twins, maybe, who just threw to first base. It looked like he was throwing to the pitcher. He was looking at the pitcher, but he threw to first base and he picked a runner off.
Runner fell asleep.
Pretty interesting way to pick someone off.
Now, I don't want to embarrass my old teammate and friend George Foster, but George got picked off one day by Ricky Horton in St. Louis, who had a great move to first base. And George took the lead and was still looking at the home plate when the first baseman tagged him out. He reached out and tagged him. He hadn't made a move back. He got completely deked. Sorry, George. Well, Wilmer Flores getting some action at first base. Wilmer's another one of those versatile infielders that the Mets have.
Brinson's got a big lead over there. Brinson had 11 steals to go with his 13 homers in 76 AAA games last year. The season ended early because of a hamstring, so he didn't run as much, but he's got that big oven mitt on, ready to dive into second base. There he goes.
.69 degrees here. We've had a little bit of cool weather here of late. I know you folks up there got, particularly out in the island, got dumped on.
Got a California breeze here today. Not too humid either. There goes Brinson again on 3-2. Cooper lines a base hit to left. Brinson takes off for third. Nimmo will hold it and flip it towards second. So it's a base hit for Garrett Cooper. The Marlins have put runners on the corners here in the second.
3-2 slider and in a good spot. But Cooper keeps that shoulder in and reaches out and gets it. And Brinson shows that you don't need your coach here. Plays in front of you and never hesitated. Good aggressive base running.
So Harvey in a bit of trouble after a perfect first inning. He's given up back-to-back hits here in the second. Here's Isan Diaz, another former Brewer farmhand coming over in that Christian Yelich trade. Seen the name Isan pop up before, Keith?
No, it's the first time. We were talking about it in the commercial break. It kind of sounds nice with Diaz too. Isan Diaz has a nice ring to it.
outfield is very shallow for Diaz. Not respecting the 13 homers he hit last year.
A little bit of a shift on there.
This one gets away, trying to score is Brinson. Flip home. Brinson's out. What a play by Plawecki.
That's a big league play right here by Mr. Plawecki. This is a tough slider in the dirt. He does everything right to block it. Good fundamentals there. A bare hand and a perfect throw. That's a fine play right there.
Harvey right there to slap the tag on as soon as he got it from Plawecki. Man, Plawecki, as he was tumbling with that off-balance throw. What a play. And now Harvey puts away Diaz with strike 3 called. So a little bit of trouble, but Kevin Plawecki, a great defensive play to help Matt Harvey out of the second. Maybe one of the best defensive plays we've seen all spring from Kevin Plawecki in the top of the second. On what could have been a wild pitch. Retrieved it and threw to Matt Harvey, covering the play, retiring a very speedy Lewis Brinson. Plawecki's also been shining with the bat this spring. He's batting .375. He's driven in 7 runs, tied for the team lead with Nimmo. Curve there from Peters to get even. Seems like with every day and at bat, Keith, that Plawecki's confidence continues to grow.
You have to forgive me. I'm scared to death of bees. It's my one phobia, and he's
hovering around you.
I don't like bees. I mean, I don't hate them, but I'm afraid of them.
Bouncer that Yadiel Rivera handles, and there's 1 out.
Oh, he just left. Good. I have a phobia of bees. I don't.
What happens if one was hovering around you at first base?
What happened in Wrigley Field once?
Yeah. What'd you do?
I was in the box. Dick Tidrow was pitching at Wrigley Field, always in September. when the fall weather started coming in, the yellow jackets would come out.
Right.
And one flew and lit on my nose. I am not exaggerating. Right when Tidrow started his motion, and he lit right there, and I bailed.
On your nose.
Yeah, and Frank Pulley, I didn't call timeout. Actually, it should have been Frank Pulley called timeout. They didn't know what the hell happened. Heck happened. Excuse me.
Oh, man.
So I remember that distinctly.
Evidently.
I pulled the ejector button. It was like that James Bond car, the Aston Martin, with the button that ejected the passenger the passenger seat. It was out of there. What did Pilecki do? I missed it.
He grounded out short.
Okay, thank you.
Yadiel Rivera threw him out. You like the name Yadiel?
Sure, why not? That'll work.
Flores calls time. I don't think there was a bee on his nose, though.
Wasps are another story. Wasps are hornets. Oh, man. I run to the hills.
Well, if a team couldn't get you out, did they have the scouting report on your phobias?
That's right. Just put
that would have helped.
That's right. Well, Wilmer's going to get a lot of action this year against left-handers, rightly so. He kills them.
And he rips this ball to left center. A base hit for Flores. First hit for the Mets today.
Hanging breaking ball here. Up in the strike zone. Nice follow through by Wilmer. Level follow through. Good top hand. Seeing more and more of the players today wearing that face guard. Wilmer, of course, got that foul ball that bounced on home plate and came back and smoked his nose. He was very fortunate it wasn't more serious, the injury.
Flores running.
Wow.
Throw down to second, and Flores predictably is out.
Well, you can hold the coffee. I'm wide awake now.
You don't see Wilmer Flores take off a straight steal.
No, you don't. Good throw by Talise right there.
I guess Wilmer was trying to catch them by surprise. Maybe Rosario was supposed to swing, or do you think Flores was just going for it?
Element of surprise. I don't think we're going to see Wilmer be doing that very often during the season.
Only 3 steals in Flores' career. Had 1 last year.
And this is not a team, the Mets, that are going to steal a lot of bases. They're not a lot of speed.
Well, you're looking at the guy who might be the team leader by the end of this season.
If Reyes gets playing time, who knows?
Gary DeSarcina telling Wilmer to relax. March 15th. Save those surprise parties for when you can get a base out of it.
You gotta love Wilmer. Wilmer's got always a pleasant disposition.
You know they're all teasing him in there. Cabrera especially just turned around to say something.
No, I said hold the coffee. Here's the coffee.
Tough hop. Anderson handles it. He's got a strong arm, and he retires Rosario. Mets get a hit, but nobody left in a scoreless second.
say. Ball gets away, a slider in the dirt. Look at that. Perfect throw to Harvey. This is the angle. This is the shot right here in slow-mo. Oh, well, we'll have to hold here. Here it comes. Here it comes. You can see the athleticism here, folks. Bare hand, flipping on the roll. Well done.
That was his only chance. Brinson can fly.
Yes.
Plewecki didn't.
Well, that's what was surprising about it, was that they got the lead runner, Brinson, who can run.
So it's Yadiel Rivera leading off the third. That play by Plewecki helping Matt Harvey get through the second without a run allowed. A 1-2-3 first today for Harvey. Rivera had a tough time in AAA for the Brewers last year. At 218 Colorado Springs, Keith. That's
no. Colorado Springs with a rarefied air?
Yeah, 218. That's 5 homers.
You need to delete it. You need to do the acid wash.
Pokes this one to center. And the third hit for Miami, a base hit for Rivera to start this third inning. Mets fans, spring training is here and on MLB.tv. Watch select spring training games live on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply for regular season games. Visit MLB.tv for details. A lot of kids out on the berm today wearing their orange shirts. Some kind of school outing, I'd imagine. There's Dylan Peters bunting that one off of Plewecki in foul ground.
And pitchers are hitting now this late in spring. I know you want to look at a lot of your everyday players, your prospects, but I do think that pitchers need to get up to the plate and swing and bunt.
Guerrero warming up in the Marlins bullpen. Peters misses the bunt attempt.
Stay in there.
Still trying to bunt with 2 strikes. Harvey went to the curveball.
Those that are the guys that aren't good bunters. And it's Freddie Gonzalez, the former manager of these Marlins and the Atlanta Braves, now the third base coach.
No, good
Giving
whistler.
signs. Look at me. You want to really upset a third base coach? Don't pay attention to him when you're up at the plate.
See if the bunt is still on. It's not. And now a full count. It was 0-2.
Well, see if they put the runner in motion here. You got a pitcher up here. He looks pretty athletic at the plate, like he has an idea up there.
He's not hit much in the pros. And
Ooh.
takes ball 4 here. So Harvey allowed a base hit to the 8th batter. Now he walks the pitcher.
Well, that's from 0-2 to lose the pitcher. And that didn't miss by much. If it missed.
2 on for the second straight inning. Back to the top of the order, and J.B. Shuck. Greg Gibson, our home plate umpire today. Line drive over Cabrera's head, a base hit. Rivera's being waved home. Ty Kelly throws to second, and the Marlins on the board.
First ball fastball hitting there by Shuck, and a high fastball. Nice level swing on that. Tomahawk that pitch up in the letters, and we're talking about Harvey having to locate that fastball. Got that one too much of the plate.
Here's Braxton Lee. Very fast outfielder. Trying to bunt his way on, but Plawecki grabs it in fair ground, throws to third for the force out. It's the pitcher Peters retired there. So the bunt doesn't accomplish much for Lee.
Well, he was killing worms up there. That was stayed right in front of home plate. Easy play for Plawecki right there.
So now Brian Anderson stands in. Mentioned Martin Prado earlier, who had a setback this week with his knee injury coming back from off-season surgery. So he won't be there opening day, so likely Anderson at third base for the Marlins to start the season. Really about time the Marlins take a look at what they have with Anderson anyway, especially in this year where not expected to win many games. I'm sure they'd like to move Martin Prado if possible, so you have to balance that playing time.
Prado is getting a little bit older. Really nice player, journeyman player, smart player, but injuries have been kind of curtailing his playing time the last couple of years.
Matt Harvey's given up a run on 4 base hits now in the first 2 1/3 innings today. The Marlins, Keith, not hitting them all that hard, but
soft liners,
yep,
they're called.
We've talked a lot about Harvey and his confidence moving toward this season. Think that's been gained this spring to this point?
I think he's got to feel much better about the way this spring training is going so far, as opposed to last year. Last year really was, I think, a rock bottom for him, and he's got himself in good shape. He's throwing free and easy, pain-free. So it's just about him executing his pitches. He's not going to be throwing that 97-mile-an-hour razor blade slider anymore. So he's got to pitch.
Anderson goes the other way. Ty Kelly backing up, long run, makes the catch. Nice job by Kelly. Drifted a bit but stayed with it. 2 outs. Shuck advanced to third. The batter will be Tomas Talis.
Not much of a wind today, but it's blowing a little bit out to right field. Ty Kelly plays a good defender.
He's truly a good defender at any position you put him.
Yes, I agree. On the outfield, I haven't seen enough of him on the infield. I know he's played some infield.
Actually, an infielder by trade. That's where he was before he became this super utility guy. Here's Talis at the ball hard, his first time lined out to center. Backup catcher for JT Realmuto. He's also had some injuries this spring. Lower back bruise for Realmuto. But health, the name of the game for the Mets, certainly, and for Matt Harvey as he tries to shake off not only last year but 2016, a lost season in a lot of ways for Harvey. Pickoff attempt at first. Ball almost got away from Flores, actually hit the base runner. So Lee is the one who kept it in front of Flores.
That's the advantage, the disadvantage, I should say, of having a right-handed first baseman. The glove on the right hand of a left-hand thrower. It's a much easier play on that pickoff throw into the runner, Wayne.
Adrian Gonzalez penciled in as the opening day first baseman for the Mets right now. Still haven't seen Dominic Smith in getting close to a few weeks now. He's only played the 1 game this spring. Trying to come back from that strained quad. Runner goes from first, and a line drive to right will score a run. Shuck comes home. Lee goes to third base. Tomas Talis gives Miami a 2-0 lead.
That was a slider. I'm not sure. Didn't have much break.
So Harvey, who allowed 5 runs in his last start, has allowed 2 so far in this one. The batter's Brinson, who singled and was thrown out at the plate by Plawecki in the second. Ooh, another wild pitch. This one Plawecki won't be able to help with. Braxton Lee scores, and it's 3-0.
Looked like Matt really got on top of that breaking ball and choked it. Choked it in the dirt. Really tried to put a little too much on it. And Plawecki didn't have a chance. And by choked it, folks, I don't mean like he choked. I mean he choked the ball with his grip.
Mickey Callaway and Dave Island looking on. We've assumed all spring that Matt Harvey's had a spot locked down in the rotation. It's really down to Steven Matz and Zach Wheeler battling for that 5th spot. We'll see how the decisions play out here in the next couple of weeks. 2 weeks from the start of the season. Another week and a half of spring training games. So it's getting close to the end here. There's Matz. He pitched yesterday, had a rocky first inning, walked a couple of guys, gave up 2 runs, but then settled in from there. He has a 2.16 ERA in his last 2 starts, so he's picked it up.
I always like the way he wears his hat cocked back. It looks like he should be on a John Deere tractor somewhere in Iowa, plowing the back 9.
But he's a Long Islander, Keith.
I understand.
He's living in Nashville now, so maybe that's what he's doing down there. See Matt's the improvement over his last 2 starts compared to his first 2.
Well, it's all how you finish. And a lot of guys are under the microscope this year, the starting rotation.
Zach Wheeler allowed 5 runs in 3 innings the other day. Harvey trying to get through the 3rd. Goes to a full count on Brinson. Harvey was strong in the first inning, struck out the 2 of the first 3 batters that he faced. A bunch of base hits since then. 5 singles, have plated 3 runs. Brinson stays alive.
What's the pitch before? He's not happy there. He's not, so just that he didn't locate and he missed badly. So he can't read too much into that. You know, you want to be, everybody wants to, everybody that's at this level is some degree is a perfectionist. Have to be to play baseball at this level.
High fly should get Harvey out of the inning. Ty Kelly pulls it down to retire the side. Marlins hang 3 on Harvey here in the 3rd. 3 hits. Chatted with Dave Island in between innings as Harvey didn't quite look so comfortable the last couple of frames.
Well, he gave up 3 hits. There's the new pitcher right there. Is that Tyron Guerrero or Tyron? I should know. I would get scolded by Gary. Well, there's his numbers.
Tyron Guerrero in the 3rd inning here for the Marlins. Dylan Peters done after 2. And Juan Lagares, who could use a few hits here at the end of spring, stands in to begin this 3rd inning. Lagares just 4 for 24. Only 1 extra base hit. Lagares hoping to get some playing time at the start of the season as Michael Conforto works his way back from injury. He's standing by with the returning Steve Gelbs, brought to you by Citi.
All right, thanks a lot, Wayne. And yeah, working his way back is Michael Conforto. And Michael, I'll just let you give it. Where are you at right now with the rehab? How close are you to maybe getting into one of these games?
I'm close. I definitely feel close. You know, I definitely feel great. Could be in the next couple days. I head over to the minor league side and start getting some live at bats. But the swing feels great. Starting to work through some things, you know, just timing stuff and feeling normal again. And so I'm looking forward to getting into some live action. Is that the final hurdle that you need to clear? Not so much the physical aspect, which you say is fine, but just making sure everything else is in line? Yeah, I mean, it's. I think we're past the shoulder thing at this point. You know, we're past 6 months. And the surgeon says that everything's pretty much healed at that point. So, so now it's just getting my timing back. You know, the strength's there, the range of motion, everything's good. So I just got to feel comfortable at the plate. And, you know, so this will be the first step when I go over to the minor league side and get a bunch of at-bats. What has this process been like for you? You've never gone through something quite like this. Has it been more frustrating than you thought, less frustrating, a little anxious to get going? What's been the internal thing going on with Michael Conforto? I think if you asked me that a couple months ago, I'd have a different answer. Now that I'm here, it feels like everything's good. You know, I feel great, and you know, I'm getting to swing the bat, I'm getting to take BP and stuff. But a couple months ago, it was tough. You know, it was tough to not be able to do the things that I wanted to do, prepare the way I wanted to prepare for the season. So. But at this point, I mean, I'm getting there. You know, I'm almost there. I'm almost back with these guys. I want to be out on the field with them, and you know, so we're almost there. When you feel good, like you say you do right now, do you have to caution yourself sometimes against doing too much too quickly? Yeah, you do. And I got the trainers and the physical therapists and the doctors and everybody, you know, helping me understand the right way to do things. And that being said, you know, I feel like I've pushed myself pretty hard, so I'm blessed. You know, everything's kind of fallen into place. Finally, Michael, last offseason you talked a lot about changing your offseason routine where you couldn't just be complacent, trying to get better with each passing day. Obviously, this was an offseason of rehab. Were you still able in any way to push forward with anything else, whether it be mental or you know, something else physical that you were able to do to change? I think you take that same attitude to the rehab. You got to, you know, look at every tedious exercise as getting you a little bit closer to being back, and that's what I did. I did everything with that mentality, you know, because obviously it worked in a big way for me last year. You know, still tried to make sure I was staying in shape, eating the right stuff, you know, getting out of the house and moving around and doing everything, you know, within my constraints to stay ready. And I think, you know, we did a good job of that. So I'm just excited to get things going. Well, we're excited to hopefully see you in action here pretty soon. And maybe the next interview is talking about your first performance in spring training. Thanks so much, as always. Thanks. All right, Michael Conforto. Wayne, back to you.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Steve had been in Hawaii. No suntan.
I don't understand how Dan Barr, our director, and not today our director, and Gelbsy, who are junior members of the group, get all this time off in spring. I'm filing a grievance. Dan's going to love that, junior member.
Hey, Keith.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
The schedule came out for the regular season.
Yes.
I have 3 days off.
Yeah, for now.
I feel for you, brother.
Hey, nice catch. What a play by a young fan on that Harvey line drive.
Very nice.
That kid.
Brought his glove and look at him. Perfect, right? Perfect. Oh, we got it. What's that, a Cub?
Yeah, wrong blue hat, but that's all right.
That's all right, as long as you're a baseball fan.
Harvey's going to send one on that kid again. Yeah. Gave it a shot, but a little too short for that one.
You know, when you always defend against a pitcher, you always play to the opposite field. So he's positioned perfectly.
Yeah, you're right.
There were times I wish I could have played people up where he's at. Pitchers.
And Matt Harvey draws a walk.
How about that?
Both starting pitchers getting free passes so far today, and the inning will continue for Brandon Nimmo as Tyron Guerrero uncorks the 2-out walk. It's another pretty good hitting pitcher in the crowd today. Dwight Gooden's here.
Big Doc, one of my favorites. Who didn't used to
There he is, Dr. K.
watch him pitch? I had a great angle at my spot at first base. Gary Carter had the best. He got the catch with Doc.
Won the Cy Young in 1985. You ever see a pitcher have a year like that?
It was Coney had a pretty good year, and was it 88 or 88 when he went 20-3, and he didn't start the year as a starter. He didn't start until around late April. Got his first start. Bob Ojeda also. Well, there's Doc's numbers, 85.
153. That's
the Cy Young. It was just an absolute treat to watch him pitch. And look at, interestingly enough, with today's strikeouts, 268 strikeouts, less than innings pitched, 276. Yeah. If Doc was pitching today, that'd be over 300 strikeouts.
Easily.
Easily.
Wouldn't be 276 innings, though, if he was pitching today.
Well,
that's for sure.
We can argue about that, huh?
He had 16 complete games that year.
Yes, he did.
You might see that in the entire National League this year.
8 shutouts, complete games. Well, they wouldn't. They obviously are shutout. Gerard, don't give me misinformation. That's our producer. It's obviously when you throw a shutout, it's a complete game, Gerard. What a talent. He could hit, too. And he'd be the...
Dwight Gooden was quite an athlete all the way around.
Well, I remember if he struck out less than 10, it was like, well, what happened?
Full count on Nimmo, so
I always felt, Wayne, that I got to play behind a pitcher. I played behind Bob Gibson, but Bob Gibson was on his way out. It was really basically his last 2 years in the big leagues, and late 30s, pushing 40. So not his dominant years, although he was still pitching great.
There's strike 3 called to Nimmo.
But I got to play behind and watch for 36, 35 starts. A pitcher of the caliber of Koufax, Warren Spahn, Jim Bunning, you name it, the whole Kershaw. Fun.
Doc Gooden in the house here in Port St. Lucie. reports from both Mets and Yankees camp on Daily News Live, presented by Citi, today at 5 p.m. only on SNY. Matt Harvey back to work in the fourth. Garrett Cooper takes ball one. Harvey's allowed 3 runs on 5 hits. All 3 runs scored in the third. 91 on that last fastball to Cooper. He's hitting mid-90s in the first inning. Saw him get up to 94, 95. Couple of strikeouts in the first. Hasn't been quite as crisp since. High fly to right. Kelly back on the track. Makes the catch. See Harvey kind of going through his mechanics while he's on the mound there after that pitch was thrown. Wind not much of a factor today. Here's Isan Diaz. Looks like Jumbo Diaz throwing in the Marlins bullpen.
You're right about that.
There he is. All 300 pounds or so of Jumbo Diaz. Yeah, don't look at me like that. It's true.
It's just so unusual to see someone packing a little extra poundage in today's game. They're such great shape. Big guy.
It's from the Rod Beck School of Exercise. Base hit for Isan Diaz. All the hits for the Marlins have been just like that one.
Ball bled back over the middle and down. You go inside, you want to go belt and up. Up and in. Toughest pitch to hit.
Now Yadiel Rivera bats. He singled and scored in the third. Harvey leaving a lot out over the plate. We talked about the need to be aggressive. The Mets coaching staff has been pushing, especially Dave Island and Mickey Callaway. He's got to get these pitchers to buy in all the time. That's the hard part, I suppose. We saw Rafael Montero struggle again yesterday. Callaway, who hasn't been outspoken very much this spring, has left a couple of statements out there about what he's seen from Rafael Montero. We'll see how the Mets pitching staff shakes out here, but getting Matt Harvey right is an important step. Harvey had one of the worst seasons a Mets pitcher has ever had last year. Highest ERA by a Mets pitcher with at least 90 innings worked. Most home runs allowed by a Mets pitcher. In as few innings as he pitched. Fewest innings pitched by a Mets pitcher that ever allowed 20 home runs in a season. Just 92. So a lot to correct from last year in that 6.7 ERA that Harvey ended up with. Look at all the walks.
Yes, and coming off that surgery, I'm sure a lot of uncertainty in his mind. It was a tough year for him.
We haven't talked a lot about it, but this is the last year of team control as well for Matt Harvey. He'll be a free agent at the end of this year. So how does that play into the mind? Thinking about his future and a contract and all that?
What's in his mind is having a good season. 100 games started in his career. Nice slider right there. That's the best one he's thrown. Great location. Beautiful.
relief pitcher Guerrero's going to bat for himself. Left-handed batter despite being a right-handed pitcher. 6-7 standing in the box. See if he tries to put a wallop on one of Harvey's pitches.
"67 pitches. Yes, sir. That's a lot. A lot of work.
It's about 6 pitches per out at this point. Six pitches per out over a full game would be 162, so not where you want to be. Some deep counts here. He walked the pitcher earlier.
Yes,
now he's 2-2 on this pitcher. Pitch number 70 from Harvey. And he gets Guerrero to swing and miss to end the inning. 2 strikeouts in the back part of the lineup for Matt Harvey and a scoreless top of the 4th. Day to hit the waves here in sunny Florida.
These look like the same guys we saw last year. They're still looking for a wave.
They've been out there. They've been out there for quite a while this spring. Matt Harvey's through 4 innings. My guess is that they'll have him come back out for the 5th. He's allowed 3 runs so far, all of them in the 3rd inning. 6 hits, all singles. Nobody up yet in the Mets bullpen. Also, the Mets have been doing this thing through most of the spring games where they like to get their starting pitcher to go back out for the extra inning, even if he's not going to pitch the whole inning, just to face one guy, just to go back up 5 times. Asdrubal Cabrera takes from Tyron Guerrero to start this bottom of the 4th. Gary DeSarcina, the Mets bench coach. And Pat Russler, promotion time for him this offseason. The new hitting coach, moving up from the assistant hitting coach job when Kevin Long left for Washington.
Pat does a good job. There's the coaching staff as Pat moves up to hit the main hitting coach, and he's very unassuming, He's not one of those guys that is a headline hunter. He just goes about his work, tries to help, does a good job.
They call Pat Rustler 6. That's the number he wears. So anytime you hear a Met say 6, that's the guy they're talking about.
Pat, clean shaven.
He didn't look like that this morning. He must have gone through right before the game. I know John Smoltz and his crew are here today, so some of these guys trying to look good for the extra TV cameras around. Second inning of work for Tyrone Guerrero. Former Padre farmhand came to the Marlins. An interesting trade. As Cabrera hits a high pop-up. Easy for Lewis Brinson in the first out here in the fourth. Guerrero came over in that deal that involved Colin Ray, who was injured at the time and got sent back. Andrew Kashner in that trade as well. But Guerrero's day is done. Don Mattingly is going to take him out. And we're going to see Big Jumbo Diaz enter the game to face Todd Frazier when we come back. Jumbo Diaz was a Tampa Bay Ray in 2017. His first pitch to Todd Frazier is a strike. Former Cincinnati Red as well.
That's where I remember him. Always was a big guy, not in the best of shape.
That's his listed weight, 316, Keith.
Oh, looks all of it to me.
Usually the listed weights, you know, throws you off a little bit. Maybe he's more. Maybe he's less. Hard to tell.
I'm not going to waste 1 ounce of energy on his exact weight. But he's got a good arm, and he's always been a hard thrower. I remember him with the Reds.
He's 34 years old. He was actually part of the Dodgers system once upon a time. That's how he got his nickname, to differentiate himself from another Jose Diaz that was a Dodger minor leaguer at the time. His real name is Jose. Took him a while to get to the big leagues, that's for sure. He was 30 by the time he broke in with the Reds. Of course, played with Todd Frazier, the man he's facing right now. Diaz pitched in the minor leagues for 12 years before he got to the big leagues. Can you imagine that, Keith?
Yes, I can. A lot of guys, they hang in there.
Frazier goes fishing. Diaz strikes out the first man that he faces.
Well, got fooled by that slider in the dirt. And the pitch prior set it up, was the fastball inside.
Yeah.
And that opened up the outside corner for Jumbo.
So Kevin Plawecki bats with 2 away, grounded to short his first time. Saw Plawecki make a highlight reel defensive play earlier. Lewis Brinson tried to score on a potential wild pitch. Mets could use a win maybe in spring training. You know, wins and losses matter very, very little, if none at all, in spring training. But the Mets have not won a game in 9 days. March 6th, their last victory. They beat Houston on that Phil Evans walk-off grand slam. Mets are 5-14-2 this spring.
Did you hear that fan after he took that?
I did.
pitch?
He's not
swing that bat.
Not happy with Plawecki's patience. Plawecki swings this time and pops it up. Shortstop Rivera retires Plawecki, and Jumbo Diaz finishes off a 1-2-3-4. On any device with live streaming presented by Verizon. Just visit SNY.TV or download the NBC Sports app today for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game. 5th inning for Matt Harvey. Drew Smith is up in the Mets bullpen. Might just be one batter that Harvey gets here as J.B. Shuck leads off. There's Smith, the former Tampa Bay Ray. As the Mets start to stretch their pitchers out, Harvey getting close to 75 tosses today. Opening days in 2 weeks. Noah Syndergaard will pitch that one. Bit of a curve there from Harvey. Good pitch.
Every now and again, Harvey will throw. That's a hanger too, by the way. But he will throw that 12-6 curveball to left-hand hitters, drop it on the outside corner, like there. That had too much of the inside part of the plate.
He struck out Braxton Lee on that pitch earlier.
Nice change.
The changeup there. Good pitch.
Something that Harvey hasn't thrown a lot today, and he's got a good one. You see the circle change grip, and you see how the action, you see how it sinks. And against a left-hander, that's what you want to do. Pretty much righty against a lefty, lefty against a righty. You want to keep that changeup away and down.
That's 6 strikeouts for Harvey today. Braxton Lee was the first of those 6. That's something to pay attention to, seeing those swings and misses. Does that tell you anything about Harvey?
I think he's working. He hasn't mixed in his changeup today. I think he's working on his command of his fastball and his slider. He's been predominantly throwing fastball and in, which I think is a lot of that Dave Island influence. And so if you've got a pitching coach that wants you to pitch in, and the management, the coaching staff feels that the Mets pitching, they've pretty much said it, didn't pitch in enough, then that's something you want to work on in spring training.
Went off speed for another strikeout. Got Lee swinging. That's 4 in a row.
So there you go. He's bringing this other weapon out of his arsenal here that he hasn't thrown a lot, and it's a good one. It is a very good changeup that Matt Harvey has. But like I say, the strikeouts are great, and I'm sure they're fine. But Matt's a veteran. He's been around. I think he was working on his fastball inside, and now this is his final inning. That's a good slider right there. So he's now mixed in this final inning here. I'm sure it's his final inning, his 5th. Mixing in that changeup.
I've seen pretty much all changeup, sliders, the curveball this inning. Not many fastballs here in the 5th from Harvey. Smith is ready if needed. That was another breaking ball from Harvey. 7 strikeouts overall, tied with Syndergaard for the most by a Met this spring.
Well, if he gets out of this inning, it's just the one bad inning in that 3rd, where he gave up 3 runs. He threw one by a wild pitch.
And a chance to finish strong for Matt Harvey today. He strikes out his final 5 batters of the afternoon, all 3 here in the 5th. 8 strikeouts overall this afternoon for Matt Harvey. Wilmer Flores leads off the 5th. Mets only have 1 hit so far today. Jumbo Diaz fires in a strike to Flores, who has that 1 hit. Matt Harvey probably done after 5 innings, 8 strikeouts, struck out the last 5 in a row that he faced. Really the one tough inning, 3 runs in the 3rd.
Well, the most important thing is he finished strong with the 3 strikeouts in the 5th. Actually, he struck out, you look at, holy shoot, struck out the last 5 batters.
Yes, he did.
Wasn't paying attention to my card.
Yeah,
that's a strong finish.
Or when I said it 30 seconds ago.
Well, Wayne, I try to hang on every word, but once in a while I drift.
I hear you.
5 in a row.
How about it?
Zerneko.
There's the inside fastball that Dave Island likes to see. Marlins have Odrisamer Despaigne up in their bullpen. We could see him soon.
Good
As
pitch.
Flores strikes out looking on that inside heater from Diaz.
Well, when a hitter's got 2 strikes on him and behind the count, got to protect the plate. And where does that make you most vulnerable? Right in there, an inside corner. You know, you tip your hat's a heck of a pitch right there.
So Don Mattingly is going to bring Despaigne in the game. I actually think he's making a double switch here, Keith.
Donnie kills me with this stuff.
Bottom 5, here comes Despaigne in a 3-0 game. Marlins have dipped into their bullpen again, although a guy that might be a starter for them this year, Odrisamer Despaigne on the mound. Despaigne, former Marlin, former Padre rather, he's a Marlin now. Rocky Road this spring.
Well, Despaigne, I recall him, he is a guy that works slow, all over the place.
He very well could be in their rotation to start the year. They really only have 2 spots lined up right now.
So much for shortening the time of games.
They've got Urania for opening day. Look at this kid.
He's got his Cheerios. Slugger. Yeah.
He doesn't care about pace of play. He just wants to sit around and watch some baseball. Infielders shielding their eyes from the sun. Diaz calls off Cooper to make the catch.
Well, it's always a sun field here in right field and later in the afternoon. Sun usually sets this time of year right over the third base dugout. You can see by the shadows it creates problems for the right fielder in particular. And it is a bright sunny day. Not a cloud in the sky.
Here's Lagares. 0 for 1 today, 4 for 25 this spring. Despaigne had a real good start against the Mets back in 2014. No hitter pretty deep into that game. Only allowed 2 hits in 7 2/3 innings. That was just his 5th major league appearance. Jose Urania will pitch opening day for the Marlins. They've got Dan Straley, and then they don't know what they've got. Adam Conley trying to make the rotation. Chris O'Grady, Peters we saw earlier, Despaigne. I think of that little hitch in Despaigne's motion, that little leg kick that he does.
A little. That's not going to trick you. He looks a little bit in better shape this year. I remember him being a little bit bigger. There's the leg kick. El Duque-ish. But he is not a drop and drive guy. He's a pretty upright pitcher.
Sandy Alcantara is probably their most talented, close to major league ready pitcher, but he's probably going to start the year in the minor leagues. Alcantara came over in the Ozuna trade.
Oh my goodness, all the little kids are in town. Hey, that's a little redhead. How are you? Oh my goodness.
Got Grandpa Keith coming out.
Oh, they're so cute, aren't they? I'm so glad mine are grown up.
Boys and Girls Club is here.
Yes.
Tomorrow, Travis d'Arnaud and Kevin Plawecki will host YMCA of Treasure Coast here at First Data Field. As Lagares bounces a base hit to left.
Second hit of the Mets for the Mets today. Fastball down and in, out over the plate.
A ground ball single for Lagares, and Ty Kelly will stand in. I wanted to mention what d'Arnaud and Plawecki were doing tomorrow, because that's what Curtis Granderson did every year, was have the YMCA kids come out for a game. So Plawecki and d'Arnaud continuing that tradition with Granderson gone.
All good stuff.
Jose Reyes has jumped in the on-deck circle to bat in the pitcher's spot if Ty Kelly can advance this inning. Familia's up in the Mets bullpen. So it looks like Familia will get the 6th. And Harvey's day likely done, whether Kelly keeps this inning going or not.
High fastball under it.
Don't see Kelly expand his strike zone too often. Bouncer handled by Diaz. The underhand flip to retire Kelly. And the inning is over. Mets get a hit, but that's it in the 5th. Nice, cool something in that cup. A slushy? Yeah, I guess so. She agrees. Good time out there on the berm, Keith.
Yes, sir. All good.
Jerry's Familia back on the mound for the first time in a week. It's a first pitch bouncer off the bat of Tomas Talise, and there's one down.
Last year's numbers, Familia, of course, had an interrupted season. Not a Familia-esque type of season, looking to rebound. His numbers so far in spring have not been good. A little bit of shoulder tightness, Wayne?
Yeah, shoulder tightness has kept him out for the last week, and he blamed that for his rough outing his last time. Gave up all 5 runs he's allowed this spring in his last appearance against the Nationals. Only 1 strikeout so far this spring for Familia. Kind of unusual to see that.
Well, I will have to see. Of course, he had the blood clot and had to have that taken care of. That was one of the injuries last season. We'll see if he can get back to form with his fastball. Hard throwing, hard sinker, hard slider. Developed now a split finger that he uses.
The Mets will have Familia anchored in the back of the bullpen. Well, maybe not every save situation. Mickey Callaway hoping to have some flexibility with Familia. Maybe use him in the 7th or the 8th inning if he needs a key out in those moments.
106 career saves.
Most saves in franchise history a couple of years ago. A chopper for Frazier. Gloves on the run and throws out Brinson.
Boy, you like to see Familia throwing ground balls. Sinker ball pitcher.
Now Garrett Cooper bats 1 for 2 today against Matt Harvey, who struck out 8 in his 5 innings.
Where's Ralph Kiner when you need him? I can just hear Ralph saying there, stepping up to the plate, Gary Cooper.
I saw a clip of Ralph once calling Gary Cohen David Cohn. Does that count?
That counts. Ralph, well, we miss Ralph. A wonderful man. I feel very blessed to have been in his company. The great Hall of Famer, of course, the home run hitting Pittsburgh Pirate.
Still got a big statue outside of PNC Park in his honor. Pittsburgh. Got a lot of home runs in a short amount of time as a big leaguer.
Kiner's corner. Webby, we miss him too.
Cooperstown, he got to be the first director to even get considered for the Baseball Hall of Fame. He deserves it.
Well, I did postseason at Fox Sports in Los Angeles, Wayne, last year. There is, as we walked past the main studio control room into the studio, there's a hallway, and prominently there's a picture of Bill Webb.
And he put the Fox World Series coverage on the map, that's for sure. Changed the way those postseason games were broadcasted, the stories, the way those were told in October.
Well, Bill was the one that was the first one that really showed the fans in intense late moments in games. Of course, the Kurt Schilling with the blood on the sock.
The facial close-ups of the players in those tense moments.
Me smoking a cigarette in the dugout. You got me fined. So would you get that first base dugout camera out when I'm having I don't smoke anymore, folks. And I don't. All you kids out there, there's nothing good in a cigarette. Don't smoke. But Bill would always put that camera on me. and he'd always do it when I'll always be on the lookout for it, and that he'd sneak it.
High fly ball headed to left center. Lagares and Nimmo converge. Nimmo makes the play in the gap. And Jerry's Familia puts together a 1-2-3 inning. Odrisamer Despaigne with a herk and a jerk toward Jose Reyes. Caught Reyes off guard there as Despaigne missed with ball one. Channeling Johnny Cueto. Despaigne. Watch this, Keith. A little jiggle.
Oh, please. Give me a bat.
Reyes has a bat, trying to use it to get on base. Diaz long throw gets Reyes by a step.
Well, nice play by Diaz right there with Reyes, who can still run. Not like he used to, but can still fly down that line. No margin for error here. No split second of indecision or exchange. Perfect throw. Nice play.
Reyes was pinch hitting in Jerry's Familia's spot, so Familia's done after a 1-2-3 top of the sixth. Here's Brandon Nimmo 0 for 2. Jerry Blevins throwing now in the Mets bullpen. Blevins has had a productive spring.
Ricky Bonas looks like he's a member of the French Foreign Legion down there.
Usually you see that on a warm day. It's only 70 degrees today, but Ricky Bones keeping his spot in the Mets bullpen. Mets bullpen coach. A lot of coaching changes we talked about earlier, but Ricky Bonas, one of two, landed right in the same spot as he was before. Glenn Sherlock, third base coach as well. Nimmo strikes out looking for the second time today. Despaigne with his first punch out.
Fastball in. What am I telling you? 0-2. When you're behind the count.
MetsBlog.com, all things Mets all year long. A continuous stream of all the latest scoops and developments from spring training, featuring behind-the-scenes video and live updates straight from Port St. Lucie on Mets Blog, presented by Citi, featured on SNY.TV. Struble Cabrera 0 for 1. Big wave and a miss. Cabrera kind of like Blevins, a guy you just see him March 29th. The spring training is kind of useless for him.
There you go.
That's spring training in a nutshell. You start at the top and you roll down the hill until time to go. There are some adults here at the game too. You wouldn't know it. There's a lot of kids here today. Look at the little shake and bake from Despaigne.
I don't remember him doing that with the Marlins over the past few seasons. Maybe I'm wrong. He needs to get on the dance floor.
Blowing bubbles. Couple shimmies, and he's so far worked inning in a third without a run allowed. But as Struble Cabrera reaches with a base hit, not enchanted by the shakes of Odrisamer Despaigne.
Fastball tries to come in. Oh, changeup. Very nice hitting. Good spot. Down and away. Let go with one hand. Kept his shoulder tucked. Mr. Cabrera, he can hit.
Here's Todd Frazier. Goes after the first pitch. Tall chopper. Bare hand pickup by Adames, but Frazier beats it out.
Playing way deep. If you're going to play that deep, you got to be able to make the play on a ground ball. So just poor positioning there. On a ball like that, you got to break quick. I know that if you don't get a good jump on it, you got to play the long hop, but you've got to go try to get the short hop. Also cuts down the distance of your throw.
Let's see if the Mets can break through against Despaigne. Blocked by Brian Holiday, the new catcher for the Marlins.
Nicely done on the block.
Marlins have made a few changes. Adames entered the game at third. Scott Van Slyke at first. Eric Campbell, the former Met, now in right field. Isaac Galloway in left. It's trying to break through. A couple of two-out hits here in the sixth. Kevin Plawecki's maybe been the Mets' best hitter this spring, along with Brandon Nimmo. Should be easy for Brinson, scaling over to make the catch and retiring the side. 2 hits, but 2 left for the Mets. Still nothing on the board for them after 6. The best baseball writers in New York break down all the latest Mets and Yankees spring training news, plus game recaps and live reports straight from camp on Baseball Night in New York. Presented by Tri-State Cadillac Dealers, tonight at 6 only on SNY. We check in around the majors, presented by Spectrum and new Philadelphia Philly, Jake Arrieta. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball for the last few seasons. Won the Cy Young in 2015. 2 World Series wins while the Cubs won their first championship in 108 years in 2016. As Jerry Blevins enters the game to face Isan Diaz here in the 7th.
Well, here's the man from the left, from the port side, Mr. Blevins. What a year he had last year. You can see with the 75 games and only 49 innings pitched that he's a left-handed specialist. He has proven over the years here with New York, with your Mets, that he can close a ball game too. He's had a couple saves in the Met uniform. I would like to see the Mets have another left-hander in their bullpen, because it's just one left-hander. I'd like to have this guy, Blevins, late in the game, tucked away in my back pocket in case there's a tough lefty up late.
Well, Matt Perk would be that guy in camp. Perk has had a very good spring for the Mets. And it's possible that he figures his way into the bullpen once the season begins. Perk's only allowed 1 run in 4 innings of work. So we'll see. There's Matt Perk, the bespectacled Perk.
That's a serious beard.
That is. So Luis Guillorme shaved his beard. He looked unrecognizable earlier today. Blevins goes to a full count on Diaz, but with the way that Hansel Robles has pitched this spring, he's probably pitched his way out of a spot on the opening day roster. Rafael Montero's out of options.
And he's not pitched well.
Nope. Jacob Rames had a good spring. Paul Sewald's probably locked into a spot, I would imagine, as Blevins strikes out Diaz. But I think there's a possibility Perk could get in there.
Well, it's the advantage of being a left-hander, particularly when you've only got one left-hander that you can go, you're confirmed to go north. And lots of spring left to get a lot of looks.
Blevins really made it tough on lefties last year. Those are left-handed batters against Jerry Blevins.
Well, I guess that slugger's had it. Nice shady spot.
Yadiel Rivera fouls one off.
Put in play now.
Last year, Blevins only allowed 1 extra base hit the whole season against a left-handed batter. 1 extra base hit in 122 at-bats.
Put in play.
2016, Blevins actually had reverse splits, but he found his way against lefties last year.
I'll say. Kept the ball in the ballpark, too. It's interesting what the Phillies have done. They've made some moves to better themselves. Arrieta, a big move. And you know what's kind of interesting about Arrieta is that, you know, he's not coming from a ballpark that's spacious. So he's pitched in Wrigley Field, where there's short dimensions. It's a smaller ballpark. So going to Philadelphia, which I think is one of the smaller parks in baseball, I think he's used to it and it'll have no effect on him. I think they got a lot of young pitchers in that starting rotation, and I think that he's going to bring a veteran presence there that's going to be very helpful for the Phillies.
Ty Kelly comes in, shields his eyes from the sun, and retires Rivera.
Well, there you go. And that's nice to have a number 1, a real number 1 right there. Aaron Nola, I like a lot. Vince Velasquez, he's got great stuff. I don't know what's holding him back. It's his command. He did not have a good year last year. Pavetta didn't impress me last year. Eichhoff has a good chance. I like his stuff. So the Phillies have made some strides.
Ben Lively figures to get some starts for them as well, but certainly Arrieta is going to be the anchor for that staff. Well, fastball's declined for Arrieta the last few seasons. Each of the last 3 years, his fastball velocity less than the year before. Should the Phillies be concerned about that?
I think he's a smart enough guy. You know, what keeps the pitchers around the longest, the guys that hang around the longest, they make adjustments to their diminishing stuff as they get older. I think Arrieta is one of those guys. He knows how to pitch. Plus, he's got that sinker where he can keep that ball down and get ground balls.
Threw 2 no-hitters in his time as a Cub. Had that historic second half in 2015. He was part of that entire turnaround. Minor league games happening on the backfields here at First Data Field now. Minor league camp much shorter than big league camp. They just started playing games this week.
When does the there's a Marlin minor leaguer. When is opening day for minor leagues? It's got to be. I'm trying to remember. It's usually late April.
No, it's usually the first week of April.
Really?
It's that Thursday. Yeah, it'll be 1 week after the start of the major league season. As Jerry Blevins gets a strikeout to end the inning, a tag there to retire Adames, and a perfect top of the 7th for Blevins. Wilmer Flores, it's a high drive on the first pitch of the 7th, but it hangs for Isaac Galloway in left. There's one quick out.
Got in enough on Wilmer. Fastball runs in, got it towards the label. Good location.
Here's Ahmed Rosario. 0 for 2. Rosario to back away from that fastball. Rosario played in 46 games last year, actually exceeded his rookie limit last season. Kind of too bad he won't be in the running for Rookie of the Year this year.
I'm sure he will take the time in the big leagues. Misplayed.
An E5, maybe they'll call that a hit. Either way, Adames misplayed that ball.
That's got to be an error. Second ball, Adames has. Playing in between hop. He did not come. He got to come and get that ball. So he likes to back up on things, doesn't he? Took both his plays today. The base hit earlier to Frazier back last inning, as a matter of fact. Now this one.
They put a hit up on the board.
Really? I'm going to keep it as an E5.
They've been a little inconsistent here with the scoring. No errors. So I guess it's a base hit for Ahmed Rosario.
On my scorecard, it's an E5.
All right.
If it was season, I would go along with the scorekeeper.
Juan Lagares has a base hit, bounced a single to left, his last time. Nobody up in the Marlins pen. Odrisamer Despaigne is in his third inning. A.J. Ramos throwing for the Mets. Good slider there from Despaigne.
Despaigne is throwing pretty good today. He has an idea what he's doing out there.
Well, yesterday, in case you missed it, Major League Baseball, along with Minor League Baseball, announced some new rules for the upcoming minor league season. And certainly there's pitch clocks, mound visits, but the most controversial is that all levels of the minor leagues will have their extra innings begin with a runner on second base.
Well, we had a discussion earlier today before the game, Wayne, you and I, with John Smoltz, who's here at the ball game. I think he's broadcasting for MLB today. And he's certainly got some points. He's a pitcher that, you know, you play 19-inning games in the minor leagues. You ruin your bullpen. You could have a chance of injury. You're trying to get players to the big leagues. Okay, I can buy into that.
Lagares looking for the right field line, but that's foul.
And pitchers are going to come in and start an inning with a runner in scoring position, which I feel that baseball got away with the Tony La Russa and Bobby Cox era, where they would have the relievers come in and throw an inning. And there was 3 innings left in the game. There'd be 3 pitchers each throwing an inning if it all went according to plan, both starting and ending an inning. No one was being conditioned to come in with men in base, get that first out, that most important out.
High drive toward the corner off the bat of Lagares. Campbell's back. That ball's off the base of the fence in right field. Everybody's running around the bases. Rosario's at home, but it looks like it's a foul ball.
Well, make a call at first base.
I think they're going to say this is a foul ball.
Well, what was the call from the first base umpire?
Yeah, it's Gary Cederstrom over there at first, and he kind of lazily threw his arms up.
Well, he put his arms up as in the position like, you know, put your hands up. He's like, it's like a touchdown. There was no signal that it was foul.
Pretty clear a foul ball on the replay, but yeah, Gary Cederstrom did not bother to let everyone in the ballpark know.
Because I couldn't tell from this angle. We have a kind of a weird angle here. We can't quite see. We just barely see the vertical orange stripe by the 338 sign. Yep, that's about where it happened.
And there's no foul territory in that corner. Either hits the wall fair or foul.
You can get an idea of that sun too there, how difficult it is for a right fielder. So there's good and bad about the new rule.
The biggest fear among baseball fans is that if they're experimenting with this in the minor leagues, there's a better chance that it actually happens in the major leagues.
Well, let's hope not. I may pack my bags and head up in the Himalayas and hide out.
I mean, it'd be a pretty ridiculous thing to throw on Major League Baseball. I mean, in the minor leagues, I get it. Development, you know, pitchers. I called an 18-inning minor league game once where the last 6 innings were pitched by infielders. So I get it that you don't want to burn out these pitching staffs in the minors, but they brought that to the major leagues. That would really tinker with the game.
I agree. How old is this game?
This particular one, or
well,
the game
no, not this one.
1876, the National League was born.
Thank you.
Rosario fouls one off, or rather Lagares fouls one off with Rosario running. But Abner Doubleday and all that goes back to the Alexander Cartwright 1830s, 1840s. Rosario running again as Lagares takes ball 4. Second time Lagares has been on base. Mets have 2 on for Ty Kelly.
No one up in the Marlin bullpen, so Pastime, it's your game.
Kelly is 0 for 2 in this one. Looks like Jose Lobaton on deck in the pitcher's spot.
AJ Ramos. See if it will be a closer by committee this year. We'll see how Mickey Callaway works that bullpen, the back end of that bullpen.
Yeah, he said that Familia will get the bulk of the saves, but it's good to have a guy like Ramos, Blevins, as we mentioned earlier, to be able to get some 9th inning experience in case they do need Familia for a key out earlier in a game. High fly ball. Eric Campbell, the former Met, makes the catch, fought the sun all the way. It's Rosario going to third.
That is a murderous sun field out there and right. But all you kids, use your glove, shade the eyes. Notice he's got his glasses on. They don't do any good when they're on top of the bill of your cap.
Eric Campbell, he could make this Marlins team, especially with Martin Prado expected on the DL to start the year. That's what they're looking into.
Yes, sir.
Campbell had a tough time playing overseas with the Hanshin Tigers last year. Didn't play a whole lot, didn't hit a whole lot. Here's Lobaton pinch hitting. Number 3 catcher on the depth chart for the Mets. Former Washington National, will likely be in Las Vegas to start the year.
Well, Plawecki, having the spring that he's had, has kind of sentenced Lobaton to AAA here. Plawecki just really swinging a hot bat.
Expect to hear from Kevin Plawecki in the top of the 8th. He'll be standing by with Steve Gelbs. So Lobaton could stay in to catch the rest of the afternoon after this at bat. Check swing. They're going to call it a strike anyway.
Change up.
And a full count on Lobaton, so Lagares will get a head start off of first. Swing and a miss by Lobaton to end the inning. The Mets threatened for a second straight inning, but they still have not scored. But the Mets play the Milwaukee Brewers at 7:10 p.m. Fans can stay after the game and enjoy a fireworks show that will light up the Citi Field sky. For tickets, visit Mets.com/fireworks. A.J. Ramos on the mound for the Mets here in the 8th.
Well, there's Ramos's numbers. He came over from as the closer from the Marlins last year to the Mets and really struggled with his command. If you remember, Wayne, he just was always 3-0, 3-1. And I think Terry Collins lost complete faith with him. But this is a new season, a new start. It's a breaking ball pitcher. Takes forever.
Isaac Galloway looks at a strike. We thought we'd have Kevin Plawecki on with Steve here in the 8th, but Plawecki's still behind the plate, so no Kevin Plawecki with Steve. Luis Guillorme's in the game. He's playing third, now beardless Luis Guillorme. Gavin Cecchini's in the game at second. Guillorme getting his first try of the day, and the ball goes right under his glove into left field.
Now that could be a base hit.
Number 35, right fielder
He couldn't get in front of that ball. Just went under his glove. That should be a base hit.
Should have kept the beard, maybe. They have not ruled yet on the scoreboard. You see Campbell's numbers in Japan as he bats here. A sidearm throw to first there by Ramos.
Oh, the old minor leagues, the old minor leagues.
This is happening as we speak.
Long days on the minor league fields. Long days.
See Desmond Lindsay right there, former high draft pick. Luis Carpio as the meeting breaks up out there.
Now the fun begins.
Talking about maybe the runner on second to start extra innings. Coming to a minor league stadium near you April 5th. Minor league seasons begin. Runner was leaning a bit at first, but Galloway gets back. They still have not put up whether that was a hit or an error, allowing Galloway to reach. So whatever Keith put in his book, I guess that's what we're going with. Oh, they just put up a hit. They just put it up. So Galloway gets a hit.
Flashback.
Eric Campbell had some key pinch hits during his time as a Met. As the runner goes, Walecki's throw down to second, bounced off the base runner. Galloway takes off for third as Dendecker gets it in toward the plate. Stolen base and an E2.
Well, he had this base stolen. Hanging slider up. Tough play for Cecchini. No chance. Infield in.
Mets have been down since the third inning. Marlins scored all 3 of their runs then against Matt Harvey, who ended up with 8 strikeouts today. Ramos finds the strike zone to keep Campbell in the box. See if this is deep enough to score the run. Kelly comes in and lost the ball in the sun. Galloway scores. Campbell ends up at second, 4-0.
Tough Sun Field. Texas leaguer here. And that's going to be a double right there. Good. He didn't put his glasses down. He's got the flips. He didn't put the flips down.
It looked like at the last minute there, he kind of just lost it. Sunny day. Kelly's got the glasses on his head there.
Got to flip him down right away. When anything in the air hits you. Beautiful bunt.
Yorme will throw out Despaigne after that sacrifice bunt attempt. Marlins made a double switch earlier, so that was the pitcher, Despaigne, bunting from the 3-hole in the order. And advancing to third, Eric Campbell, as Brian Holiday bats.
Well, one thing's for certain, I always loved the flips on the glasses. And the little bit of the edge comes out of the side of your bill of your cap, so you just flip it with your index finger. Flip it down. But on a day like any day game where there's sun,
It's foul.
once the ball's hit in the air, I had those glasses down immediately.
Off on the outfield. Right field.
Well, I bet Ty Kelly's living with regret after that last. Would have been interesting to see if Galloway would have tried to score had Kelly caught it. High and tight there from Ramos. Went to Texas Tech. Their team's in the NCAA tournament this year. 21st round pick in 2009. And Ramos has given up 2 runs here in the 8th. Dendecker couldn't stop that on his sliding effort. RBI double for Brian Holiday. Miami's up 5-zip.
Well, it hasn't been a good spring for the Mets, that's for sure. Hanging slider. It's down, folks, but when I say hanging, it has too much plate. So a hanger doesn't have to be just a floater in there that hangs up. It could be a good breaking ball that's down and had a break, but it's down the middle. So that is a hanger.
There's Corey Bird batting for the first time. And there where Brinson was in the Marlins order. Mets back in action tomorrow afternoon against the Baltimore Orioles. We'll have that for you on SNY at 1 o'clock. Jacob deGrom will pitch for the Mets. The Orioles making the long track from Sarasota for that game tomorrow. They'll have Andrew Kashner on the mound. Did you see where Kashner had to get special clearance from the Orioles, who do not allow beards, that he's allowed to have one, or he would not have signed with them? So the Orioles said, okay, you can have your beard. Here's your contract. High chopper. Guillorme throws out Bird. There's Scott Van Slyke. You ever put anything unusual in your contracts?
No. Just most I had in the clause was performance, which were basically awards when I signed my 5-year deal, and I had only 4 teams I could say no to, but I had to list them specifically.
Who were they?
The American League. I did not want to go to the American League. It was Cleveland, Oakland, gosh, I believe Minnesota.
You ended up with Cleveland anyway.
I did. When my contract expired, I lost all my rights.
Were they the only team that offered you?
Houston and Oakland, believe it or not. Oakland had Mark McGuire, and
slow bouncer. Guillorme bare hands, throws wildly to first. Holiday scores. Taking off for second is Van Slyke. It's been a tough inning defensively for Luis Guillorme, and it's 6-0 Marlins.
He could have had two errors. That should be a base hit and an error, maybe. We'll see how they. Well, you know what? He would have the throws there. He's got them. This is not an easy play. No, that's a base hit and an error. Should be.
The error scoring Holiday.
They rolled a base hit. Did you hear that? The loudspeaker? I missed it.
I think they did, yes.
Okay.
It is base hit and an error.
So that's
2 errors in the inning for the Mets.
So getting back to your point, when I was Frank Cashin wisely let me go, and I thought I could still play. McGuire was anchored at first base, and he already was a young player, so they told me they wanted me to back up. I didn't want to do that. Houston had Glenn Davis at first base, and they wanted me to back up. I didn't want to back up. And Cleveland said, you'll play every day. But then I found out that, unfortunately, I couldn't play every day anymore.
This is Peter Mooney at the plate for the Marlins. Got to be Sandy Alderson there in Oakland, right?
I don't remember.
Well, the A's won the World Series in '89. As Flores handles that grounder off the bat of Mooney, and the inning is over. 3 runs for the Marlins in the 8th, taking advantage of a couple of Mets errors. Well, Drisamer Despaigne still out there for the Marlins. And his 4th inning of work. He and a few others have kept the Mets off the board today. Matt Dendecker batting to start this bottom of the 8th. Looks like we'll see Matt Perk pitch the 9th. He's warming up right now in the Mets bullpen. Yoenis Cespedes trying to come back from his sore wrist. Had a cortisone shot a couple of days ago. He's day-to-day right now. So is Brandon Nimmo starting in left field today. Mickey Callaway hoping to have Cespedes back before too long. Certainly a huge piece of the puzzle for the Mets this year. Dendecker, it's a high fly toward the right field line. That's Campbell in the sunshine for the first out.
The sunglasses come in handy.
And here's Cicchini batting for the first time. Hard ground ball. Anderson bobbled again, has no throw.
No, that's what's his name?
Adames.
Adames has had I mean, geez, the ball's finding him. Playing way deep. Whenever you wait for the ball to come to you, you're looking for trouble. I know that ball's hit hard. Boy, he's had a tough day out there in the field. Whew.
Adames only been out there a few innings, but maybe third base just isn't the place today. Luis Guillorme had a tough top of the 8th inning at third. He bats here. Guillorme committed one of the 2 Mets errors in the third. Also had another ball slip by him that was ruled a base hit. Kevin Plawecki on deck. Been out there the whole day. Starting to see these guys play a little bit deeper into spring training games. Travis d'Arnaud caught 8 innings yesterday. Opening day just 2 weeks from today.
How about that?
Hopefully it warms up a little bit in New York before March 29th.
4 extra off days negotiated in the basic agreement.
Seems like a lot of them are early in the season too. April and May are chock full of off days.
We get those 4 off days too.
You're getting an extra off day because of the games that are going to be airing on Facebook. Exclusively on Facebook.
Oh, so who's going to do? Is it going to be carried by MLB?
MLB Network will supply the broadcasters, but the game will be only on Facebook, not on TV anyway.
Yeah, I bet that's going to make Met fans angry.
Mets and Phillies, April 4th. Well, I think a lot of Mets fans have Facebook. They can handle it.
But we're not going to be doing the game, right?
No.
That's what
you mean.
I can't tell you how many fans come up to me. Now, whether I don't think that Don Matting's going to make a change, but when the Mets have a game of the week or ESPN,
well, they need their
they miss our broadcast.
Yeah, they need their Gary, Keith, and Ron.
We can't be everywhere at once.
That's true. I know Dreesemer Despaigne can't either. He won't be on the mound anymore when we come back. JJ was in the White Sox system prior to coming to the Mets last year. There you go, father and son.
Yep. Gosh, time flies. Jeez.
Wimmers all over the place. 3-1 on Flores. And there's ball 4, so the bases are loaded. An error, a hit batsman, and a walk have filled him up for Ahmed Rosario.
Well, this is not what you want from a reliever when you bring someone in protecting a 6-run lead or any lead with runners on base. Whitey Herzog always said he looked for relievers, and this was back in the day when relievers came in jams. And so it was very essential to get that first out they faced. And if Whitey felt that the pitcher wasn't doing that job, he got rid of him. He found people that get that first out.
Wimmers pours one over to Rosario. Rosario shook off an early leg injury. He's been back now for close to a week. And ready to go as the starting shortstop for the Mets. Should be fun to see him play every day. Got a glimpse of it last year. The Mets counting on him to take that next step and be an everyday big leaguer. Not a guy who walks a lot, but counting his favor against Alex Wimmers, it's 3-1.
Jeez.
See if Rosario gets something to take a hack at. He does not. Ball 4. Wow. And Wimmers totally out of control. He walks Ahmed Rosario with the bases loaded. And the Mets get their first run of the day, an unearned run on a bases loaded walk. There's Juan Lagares. Even he has a walk today for Rosario.
Juan Nieves, the pitching coach for the Marlins, former Milwaukee Brewer.
Well, if you're walking Ahmed Rosario, then something's going on. That's Rosario's first walk this spring. Had just 2 during the regular season last year. After his call up from AAA, that is. So here's Juan Lagares, 2 times on base today. As Wimmers lays in a strike. It's JJ Franco. Pinch running for Plawecki at third. Flores at second. Rosario at first. Lagares squeaks one foul to the right side. Center fielder Miller comes in to make the catch. And the inning over. Mets don't get a hit in the 8th, but they score a run. They leave 3, and they're down 5.
Kind of got out of whack in the 3rd, and you know, kind of was yanking everything open, and my front side was leaking, so everything was flat, and then you know, gave up a couple hits and walked the pitcher, obviously, which is not ideal, and then things kind of unraveled. But I was happy with settling back in, and those last 2 innings were much better.
Some ups and downs for Matt Harvey today. Ended up with 8 strikeouts in 5 innings. Fanned the last 5 consecutive hitters that he faced. As Ty Kelly makes the catch in the corner for the first out here in the 9th inning. Kevin Plawecki caught Matt Harvey today, and he's standing by with Steve Gelbs.
Yep, thanks a lot, Wayne. Kevin, we just heard from Matt Harvey. What was your take on his outing today?
Yeah, I thought he threw the ball great. You know, filled up the zone early, used all of his pitches. His changeup was awesome today, and you know, I think getting ahead was the big thing today. He attacked hitters, and you know, minus that 1 inning there where kind of, you know, got a couple of hits here and there. I mean, I thought he threw the ball really well.
Yeah, he talked about his changeup too. What was noticeable about that pitch today?
Well, I think he came out the same arm slot as his fastball. I mean, it was going fastballs in off of that changeup in, and you know, when he's doing that, it's very deceptive to a hitter. And yeah, no, it was a great pitch for him today. So hopefully, you know, we can, you know, take today and kind of springboard forward.
We were talking a lot about your offense, or we have been talking a lot about your offense this spring, but made a tremendous defensive play in the 2nd inning, throwing out Brinson there. On a play like that, what is the most difficult part of making that happen?
It turned a bad block into a good play, so it's kind of hard to, you know, really look at it as a good play. But yeah, just get to it as quick as possible and try and get the ball to the pitcher covering. I mean, there's really no science behind it. It's just one of those things we kind of mess around in drills with, but, you know, it was nice to kind of execute early on in the game and you know, keep that run from scoring.
Who's been on SNY more this spring training, you or me?
That's a very good call, because I don't know. I've been on here way too many times, so yeah, you've been on here more, but I'm definitely up there.
All right, well, we appreciate the time as always. We'll get you an SNY polo for tomorrow, or do you want to be in the booth?
Neither. I'm good. I'm all right.
Thanks so much for the time. Guys, back to you.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. He told me earlier privately that he was on way more than Steve this spring, but I guess didn't want to just make Steve feel bad there on camera. So Marlins get a man on here in this top of the 9th inning. It was Adames who again pushed one by Guillorme at 3rd. Matt Perk on the mound for the Mets. As Isaac Galloway fouls off the first pitch. Perk Perk, a White Sox minor leaguer last year. Had a pretty good season for AAA Charlotte. He's been okay in camp and certainly on the radar, I would say, for being that second lefty in the Mets bullpen if the Mets decide to take two.
Well, he's got a good chance to make this club, as you said, Wayne, and just the fact that being a left-hander. I know the Mets over the years have gone north and with just one left-hander, and I just really think that it's important to have two. Now, you just can't have anybody out there just for the sake of having a second left-hander, but someone that it's a major league pitcher, get the job done.
Whoa. Tomas Nido throws behind the runner at second. Nice pick by Cicchini to keep it on the infield. You got to figure. So we take a look again at Nido keeping that ball in front.
Well, nice play. Caught it between his upper arm and his chest in between there. That's because he got his body in front of it. It was a tough play.
The Mets take the standard 7 relief pitchers. Familia, Blevins, Ramos, Anthony Swarzak, Paul Sewald's 5. And there's a couple spots open. One of those will likely go to either Lugo or Gesellman, maybe Robert Gesellman.
Well, Robles had I felt had a shot, the biggest avenue in, but he has not pitched well. So it's opened up some spots there.
And Montero's key factor is that he's out of options, so the Mets would have to potentially lose him if he does not make the team out of the gate. That's at a .482 bullpen ERA last season. The Marlins had their own bullpen issues, including the fact that they had the second most innings pitched by a relief staff in Major League history last year. The Mets have the worst bullpen in the National League. A lot of that because of injuries, but something they feel like could be a strength of theirs this year. Jacob Rames had a good camp. Maybe he sneaks in there at the last second. Maybe they take both Lugo and Gesellman. Then you don't have to worry about anybody else. Ty Kelly handles this line drive. As Adames advances to third, Rosario lost the ball. Guillorme goes to get it. You mentioned the great defensive play from Kevin Plawecki earlier.
Well, this was an outstanding play right here. From the seat of his pants, barehanded. And this was a nice routine play for him right there. Ball came right up, got the lead runner. Plawecki continues to shine in spring.
He's had a very good spring. So the Mets shake out their catching situation, but I think they're happy with how both Plawecki and d'Arnaud have done this spring and coming out of their finishes last year. The Mets are satisfied with what they have behind the plate. Well, that's not music to everybody's ears, but I think for what you've seen this spring, at least, you have to be fairly optimistic that these two guys can handle sharing the load.
Getting a little chilly. Oh, I felt though when spring training started, it was a different kind of a spring for the Mets in the fact that usually their pitching was set, but this year their everyday position players and bench was fairly set. There's not any positions up for grabs.
Now, for all the talk about first base, that's pretty much done now. It's going to be Gonzalez. Smith has not even really had a spring training.
And Plawecki and d'Arnaud were going to battle for the most playing time, but they both were going to play. But the Mets have a very good bench.
Well, maybe Nimmo's wrestled some playing time from Lagares.
Well, we're gonna play both of them. I mean, Nimmo stays in on left-handers. So, you know, I think Lagares gives you a little better defense in the outfield, and center field in particular. And Nemo's no slouch.
Eric Campbell draws a walk. Yeah, really at the end of this spring for the Mets, the big battles are the end of the bullpen and the number 5 starter. And it's very unclear right now between Matz and Wheeler.
Well, Wheeler's thrown pretty doggone good.
Yeah,
and throwing strikes, and there's still 2 weeks to make a decision.
Wheeler a bit of a setback the other day, allowing 5 runs in 3 innings. As Brian Miller goes the opposite way, Lagares won't reach it. It's a base hit for Miller, scoring Adames. Campbell ends up at third, and the Marlins extend their lead.
Fastball inner half, just he's way off the plate, just kind of little Richie Hebner hockey swing there almost.
That's not going to do Matt Perk any favors with Brian Miller, a left-handed batter, going the opposite way for that base hit. Holiday, veteran receiver with AAA Toledo in the Tigers system last year. High bouncer, Rosario on the move. Retires Holiday to end the inning. Marlins tack on a run against Matt Perk as we head to the bottom of the 9th. On SNY is brought to you by Citi, proud partner of the New York Mets. By Jeep, the most awarded lineup of SUVs ever. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Fios by Verizon, streaming is only as good as your internet, so get the best internet on the 100% fiber optic network. Go to getfios.com. And by Nissan, get the technology of tomorrow today at Nissan. Now, shop choosenissan.com. Bottom of the 9th inning in Port St. Lucie. Mets have trailed most of the day. So the winless streak will continue. Last win March 6th.
How many? What's the losing streak?
It's like a winless streak. There are a couple ties mixed in there.
Oh, a couple ties.
This will be the 9th game in a row. Ty Kelly has a base hit. So 9 straight games with a loss or a tie. 1 tie, 8 losses in the last 9 if they don't come back.
So 0-8-1.
Yes. And it'll be 5-15-2 this spring. John Mora bats for the Mets. Seen Mora in the last couple of springs. This is his first at bat though this spring. Drew Rachinski warming up.
Whoa.
That's way high from Wimmers.
Wimmers is all over the place.
And he's been a mess. Ty Kelly goes to second on the wild pitch.
Just a little bit high.
John Mora, St. Lucie Met last year. Stole 19 bases at 265. Now Wimmers behind again. It's 3-0. Walk to Mora. 2 on for the Mets. Nobody out. Back to the top of the order, and Matt Dendecker. Dendecker flied to right, his first plate appearance today. Wimmers 23 pitches, 16 balls, only 7 strikes. Backs Dendecker away, and now 17 out of 24 have missed.
Who's counting?
See if Dendecker turns it loose. If Wimmers comes close. Pulled the string.
How about that? Guy's wild as a March hare, and he drops a 2-0 changeup on you. There we go. I dare you to do it again.
Well, he missed with that one. It's 3-1. A Buckeye against a Gator here. At Dendecker, University of Florida. Wimmers from Ohio State. And he walks Dendecker. Back-to-back walks. Wimmer has walked 4 and hit a batter while only recording 1 out. Don Mattingly has seen enough.
And that's not going to get you a ticket to the big leagues.
It will get you a ticket to the shower. Drew Rachinski will enter out of the bullpen to try to finish this one for the Marlins when we come back. Drew Rosinski will try to help the Marlins get through the end here.
They're just hoping for strikes.
Well, he hasn't really thrown many either in his big league career. Only 18 2/3 innings, but 10 walks. And ball one to Gavin Cecchini. Rosinski has been with the Angels and Twins in his brief big league stints. Those numbers from AAA in the Minnesota system last year, good there, but then 2 big league appearances, allowed 10 hits, 5 runs, and 4 1/3 innings.
Oh boy.
Rosinski was with Wimmers at Ohio State. Must have been a lot of long games that those Buckeyes had.
That's my line. Oh, I'm rubbing off on you.
You might be
having an effect on you. You just stay close to me, Wade. We'll go places.
It's 3-1 on Cecchini. So Rosinski has not been any more accurate than Wimmers. And there's ball 4. So both Mets runs so far in this game have scored on bases loaded walks. First Rosario in the 8th. Now Cecchini here in the 9th inning. Don Mattingly begging for a strike.
Begging for a double play. Get greedy. Get greedy.
Here's Guillorme. Freshly shaved Luis Guillorme, and a big long beard all spring. See it on the video board. That's the way he was looking, and now Guillorme now, the clean face. There he was, and now look at him, gone. Doesn't even look like the same guy.
No.
There he is. He's lost about 7 years with that beard gone. Guillorme wants to call time. Rosinski behind Guillorme. Finally something to swing at. Yeah. Guillorme fouls it off.
Yeah, throw a fastball. Get ahead 0-2. Then you want to throw that curveball. Everybody wants to be a trickster out there today.
Marlins pitchers have walked 5 and hit a batter in the last 2 innings. 3 walks here in the 9th, including the one to Cecchini with the bases loaded. Still no outs. And a full count on Guillorme. Tying run could come to the plate if Guillorme reaches.
Well, see if we get a little Archie Bell in the drills here. That's the tighten up wing. It was before your time. You've heard that song.
I've heard it. My grandma played it.
Aha!
Ball 4 to Guillorme. 4 walks in a row. Rosinski can't find the plate. And the Mets are one swing away from walking their way right back into this game. Juan Nieves will come out as Tomas Nido will met.
How many more mound visits do they have this inning? You're on your own, Slugger.
Well, Mattingly's been out there to change pitchers.
What is it? How many an inning are you allowed? I forget.
You get 6 in a game now.
Oh, okay, so they got
one. Well, you get 2 an inning, but the second one you got to take the pitcher out.
But guess what?
What?
They can do all the talking they want. That young man out there has to get the outs.
That's true, and Tomas Nido could be a tough out. He's homered once already this spring. Flores is on deck. Ooh. Marlins are in trouble. There's ball 1.
Yeah, there you go. Throwing a slider and getting behind. You got to take your chances. I always say, you know, you got 8 gloves out there. The ball might find one.
The only thing the ball's finding right now is the catcher's mitt outside the strike zone. And there's ball 2. Ball 8. Ball 12. Wilmer Flores, the potential winning run on deck. Nido took a big hack on 2-0.
Kid's got a decent fastball. He should throw it. He should throw it.
Fired that one in the dirt.
Oh, he did the old short arm there.
Nobody's up in the Marlins bullpen. This is Racinski's game to either finish or lose.
So you want to be a big league manager.
That is the 5th consecutive walk.
Wow.
2 of them from Wimmers, 3 from Racinski. And now Flores can win it with 1 swing.
Well, there's no one up in that pen.
Jacob Zenon is the pinch runner at first. In for Nido. Five straight walks after the leadoff base hit by Ty Kelly. It's 7-4. And here's Flores. You know, Wilmer's got a flair for the dramatics.
Oh, boy.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. 5 walks in a row.
My memory, I can't jog my memory back to A-ball. I can't. It's too long ago. There's a strike.
It's in there.
There you go.
Now, we were impressed with Harvey's 5 straight strikeouts earlier, and this is impressive in its own way.
Jeez, it's a 3-run ball game.
That's the walking cap that kid's got right now.
There you go.
Big swing from Flores.
It's got a decent fastball. Throw it. Throw it by Wilmer.
Tying runs are on for the Mets in the bottom of the 9th. They were down 7-1. They've scored 3 in this inning on 1 single and 5 walks. And a bloop right field. Campbell has the first out. Tagging from third, trying to score. Cicchini makes it. 4th run of the inning for the Mets. It's a 2-run game. A sac fly for Flores.
See what happens when you throw strikes. Okay.
Sinski not out of the woods yet. Rosario and Lagares due up with 1 out. Here's Rosario. He walked with the bases loaded his last time. Singled in the 7th. Shadow starting to creep over home plate. Pickoff attempt at second. Safe is Guillorme. Tried to steal it out that way.
Oh, it looks like he's just finally said, okay, I'm going to just throw the fastball here. That might drop.
That's going to get in. A base hit for Rosario. Here comes Guillorme. It's a 1-run game. Tying run at second as Zenon holds up after Ahmed Rosario's base hit. His second RBI today. And the Mets have 5 here in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, we beat him inside out, and just flared it out there. Well, you can see he got completely beat inside. It's an inside out, and a very fortunate hit.
So now the tying run at second base, the winning run at first with great speed. Here's Lagares. Ball 1.
Uh-oh. I hear you knocking, but you can't come in.
Ground ball could end the game, but it's bobbled. Mooney bobbles it at second. Zenon's trying to score, and he goes. He's out by a mile at the plate. What a send that was by Glenn Sherlock. He must have thought that ball rolled further into the outfield because Zenon was being sent home. And he was out by about 15 feet, maybe more.
Oh, boy, that is an egregious error right there by Sherlock. This ball doesn't get far enough away. This should be an ending double play, and boy, that's a clank right there. Great awareness by the shortstop.
It's Peter Denon,
who made a nice throw home too. Alertly found the ball, and there's just no way you can send the runner here. No way.
Now Ty Kelly bats with 2 on.
Well, that was an inning-ending double play, and that's
Lagares at first, now Rosario at second. Foul ball again. Mooney with another chance. He has this one to end the game. So the rally falls short for the Mets in the bottom of the 9th. They get 5 runs, thanks in part to 5 consecutive walks. But they leave the tying and winning runs aboard. Jacob Zenon was thrown out at the plate.
Wow.
And the Mets' comeback efforts today in Port St. Lucie fall just a little bit short.
Well, a pretty ugly game. The Marlins pretty much on top early, and with the back end of their pitching staff, the young pitchers couldn't find the plate. Harvey, on the other hand, had 1 bad inning in the third, where he gave up 3 runs, but went 5 innings, finished strong with 5 straight strikeouts, 8 on the day.
So valiant effort by the Mets late in this one, scoring all 6 of their runs in the last 2 innings, but a 7-6 loss against the Marlins. Our next broadcast tomorrow afternoon, the Baltimore Orioles will come over from Sarasota to play the Mets. Jacob deGrom will get the start for the Mets at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Matt Harvey, 8 strikeouts in today's game, but a 7-6 win for the Marlins here in Port St. Lucie. For Keith Hernandez, I'm Wayne Randazzo in for Gary Cohen. We will talk to you tomorrow.